Go.
Good morning. Good morning. Do I have a treat for you today? This is Sahar, your AI whisperer, and this is the next episode in season 2 of AI Cafe Conversations. So, we're doing things a little bit different today. So, I have, first of all, a great executive coach here, but also a very, very dear friend. We go back a long time, and it's just like I admire what she has been doing. I mean, she is a fabulous entrepreneur. She is the brain master behind a system and soul AI, and she is just fabulous. I'm gonna let her talk about herself in a second. Her name is Lizette Espinoza, and I'm just delighted that she had time for us today to be in this interview. Like I said, we go back a long time and we go back and forth. We are each other like, what do you do? How should I do this? How I'm going through this? What should I do? And we kind of talked AI for a long time together. And today, I asked her to come here to share her experience with all of you. So, Lizzie, like I call you, so thank you so much for being here today. I would like you to please introduce yourself, and then I have a couple of questions for you.
Well, Sahar, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Always an honor. Yes, we go back a long time. You're one of my dear close friends when it comes to just, sharing life, and I really appreciate you for that. And even especially with AI, so I know we'll talk about that later, but I definitely credit all of everything you've done and everything you've talked about to open my own eyes in what this is capable of. And for a little background of myself, actually prior to joining on the entrepreneur side, I was a former litigating attorney, so still an attorney, but I love using it in combination of business and law. I'm in the baby tech space, infant tech, and now my experience in the entrepreneur space, I really love supporting entrepreneurs. And so that's where I'm a coach and an executive coach to other entrepreneurs, and now moving into allowing them and showing them the capabilities of what AI can do for them, because this really is revolutionary.
That's so interesting that you're saying this, because I have been saying this a lot lately, that people are barely using AI like a Google search. They're scratching, and I think the biggest risk that people are going through is that they're scratching the surface, they entering whatever, getting a response, and they call themselves AI experts. And that scares me because honestly, we both know garbage in, garbage out, right? So thank you for being here. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. When did you start AI in and as a tool, as something that you wanted to try? What made you go to it, and what was your biggest fear trying to use it?
Um, I know a couple questions in there. Well, honestly, my legal mind is actually what kept me away. So it's interesting, even though I'm in tech, I feel like I'm a late adopter of AI. If you think, in particular, I think the way we talk about it, I think ChatGPT opened it up. What was that, 22, when it launched? But even though those that are in AI know that it's been around for years, right? But this is just where it really became publicly known to the mainstream, even though we're surrounded by it, because those Siris and the Alexas were AI. It's just in a different level, and you weren't aware of that, right? So the legal part of me didn't want to use it because of security reasons. I was like, I don't want to just put my information out there. Just even the word open AI, it's like everything's just going to be out there. So I actually credit you for really opening my eyes to the fact that once I realized that I can have some security protocols, toggle things off, and even from there, I've added different ways to add protections, or being really clear that I'm intending something to be private. That's actually where all of a sudden I took off. To the point that my husband, who had been using it for 2 years prior to me, was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" He's like, "You're a monster." It's like I haven't even come close to the way you're using it because it intuitively came to me. And I feel like what you just said, I do deep dives with it. And I even started creating my own bots that like specialized assistants. But I hear your voice in the back of my mind often, which is garbage in, garbage out. So when I see people just doing these simple sentences or they're not giving enough information in the background, I know that they're not getting the best results that they can.
And they're shooting themselves in the foot basically,
Mhm.
and it hurts them rather than helping them. Actually, there was just a study released that, and they said that they're finding out that most of the platforms like either Claude, Anthropic, or even Meta or ChatGPT or Perplexity, all of them are leveling up. Maybe one is over memory, one is over maybe paradigms, and but they're all almost at the same level. What the gap has been going is in the users, between the novice users and the people that really know how to do it. The gap is actually like uh, really widening. And I love the fact that you're saying that. And I know that you're doing not only prompt engineering the right way, you're doing a lot of prompt chaining where you take, like you said, you dig deep and dive, and most people don't do that. And for
No.
me, this is sad. Um, what was your mindset as a brain? I know that your legal part of your brain kind of puts you in stand up, like, hey, let me an alarm position where your amygdala all of a sudden give you your survival vibes. Stop, don't go any further, you are in danger. But what was your mindset about AI when you started working with it, when we started talking about it?
Once I started using it and I'm seeing the capabilities of how quickly the results are coming, and that at the end of the day, I am the one that's mastering it, right? So going to when it comes to even teaching other people, my thing is like I really want you to think with it. So I think that's where my intuitive side, I happen, if we do personality styles, I happen to be an analyzer. So the analyzer in me it's easy for me to go deep with it, right? So I give it a lot of information and background. And I really look at it as like, hey, if I had this person in front of me, what information does it need to know in order for it to do its job well? So that's probably the easiest way to think about it. If I just hired somebody and I gave them one sentence, hey, go write this memo for me, and they come back and it's about something that you didn't want, well, look, I didn't give any clear instructions on that, right? So this is where I really started when I'm showing people, it's like, hey, I want you to really think with this, right? And I like this is my partner Emmy and I, we say this for it's not I don't want to say artificial intelligence, it's augmented intelligence, right? Because artificial means fake, but augmenting is how can you augment and improve yourself and how do you work with it together to make you a better version of yourself? So when I started using it and I was seeing the power of it, I was just seeing how you as an individual can just like exponentially grow yourself because of the questions that come through because you're really having a conversation with the AI.
So, it's interesting that you said that because I call it even as you know, I'm releasing a book called Coach's Brain Meets AI. And in the book, I say that we collaborate, we don't compete with AI, right? And I say that if you are a good coach and you have good skills, AI, you say augment, I say amplify, will amplify those skills. And I'm sorry, but if you're not a good coach, it will amplify how mediocre the skills are. I mean, there is no two way about it. It's about, again, how to use it. So thank you for sharing that. What was the first aha moment in your coaching practice when you're helping executive use AI? What was your first aha moment that made you, yes, I'm on the right track?
I think one in particular was someone had already had experience with AI tools, particularly a lot of the marketing sides, and also had experience on the ChatGPT side. But when I showed them what was more available to them, they were like, oh my goodness, it's like I saw their aha moment and their little glimmer of how much it really could improve for them. That this person actually very quickly took it on and improved and even started making money at a faster rate just because of these slight improvements. And so it was fascinating here is because she was already using it, but it shifted her in a different point of view of like, hey, let's think a little bit more, a little bit deeper with it. And again, I think even at the end of the day, let's think with it, right? Because when you were talking about somebody using it and like and they don't cross-reference, they don't check, or they're like, oh, this looks good. That's the AI mastering them. And again, I go back to from the executive coaching perspective, you need to be able to maneuver this, you need to be able to move with it. But that was my number one aha moment there of hey, this really is gonna impact somebody. And so I actually get so much joy in it too. That's probably the other big spark of like, you guys, this is life changing. So I realized too how much I love talking about it because it makes a difference to people's lives, and giving them some time back and reducing stress levels. That to me, that's invaluable, right? Like that's actually really what matters in life. Like let's
Absolutely.
find a way to have a better life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What is the biggest, when you're coaching like leaders and executives, what is the biggest pushback that you get?
I think, well, when it what surprisingly enough, I actually get more people being open to using the AI. The beginning was the fear, so I really relate to the part of the security issues. So at least I can show them, hey, look, these are different ways that you can secure your data. And it's interesting where I wear the legal hat on that. I don't know if you do this, but I've when I do my custom bots, I even add disclaimers to the bottom. I've added different notes to show again, I am intending this to be private. So that was one of the biggest pushbacks. Secondly, it is when someone is closed-minded. They think that AI is not going to help them with their job, and they're not willing to open themselves up to possibilities. So if you're closed, then that's one of those things where it's like no one's going to be able to teach you that. It's like I can lead the horse to water, but if you don't want to drink, then it's like there's nothing we can do about them being closed to what might open up for them. So that would probably be the second biggest pushback is someone's just closed about it.
You know, it's yesterday I was reading a post on LinkedIn, and I know you are on LinkedIn a lot, and um, someone was saying that she was tasked with coaching an executive in an organization, and she found out that that executive was not open to coaching. So she's basically berating the HR and the CEO of the company that they pushed that person for coaching when they were not ready. And I had to stop for a second. And I'm like, that's not being a good coach, right? It's about like, especially with AI now, knowing, understanding that. Remember, when people are scared of AI as a coach cannot read the micro expressions of someone's face that you're coaching. Your mirror neurons are different. You know, your empathy is different, but they can look at patterns and behaviors, and they can give you lights on things like that that can help you mostly develop even your own skills. And I had to go and respond to that, because I don't believe in that someone is. There is a very small percentage where people are uncoachable, but it depends on the coach. And you know that, Lizette. I mean, I'm sure you met in your life. Not everybody is open from the get-go for coaching, but as a good coach, you present it in a way where you talk to their survival, calm down their fear, and take them to the next level. And now with AI is just absolutely a lot easier. The next question, that since we're talking about business, what business results have you seen from your AI integration in your business and in other people's business?
Well, it's making a difference in saving money from some of, and because of the time, right? Because there's some of the results that I get that are just so much faster. And from like, for example, I have a CEO bot. So I basically recreated myself. And this is primarily on ChatGPT. I recreated my experience. And so what I did with this particular GPT is I said, you've already built the business to like where I wanted to go, right? Like what does a $100 million company to the $1 billion company look like? And so whenever I run through it, I use different analysis for this one. Sometimes it'll be like, hey, these are some of the experiences we're going through right now. Let's strategize through it. So we strategize. I can even put in some P&L, like even like performance things with the company and ask it like where are the gaps. I will use it for, let's say I went on all of a sudden I had a bunch of networking events, like 3 or 4 in a week. It organized all of my follow-ups for me. So it's like almost having an assistant. From a systems perspective, from our marketing side, I had our team, we did create a special marketing assistant on ChatGPT so that they have the links. So when it comes to creating our calendars, our marketing calendars and events, it's like now it's done so fast. You know, what used to take maybe 2 weeks, now it takes within a few minutes, but it's like now you edit it. So there's room to do more things. So I'm using it with the team and I'm inspiring and allowing the team to use it. I definitely the proponent of it with the all of the different components, different departments. How can AI support you to do your job better? And also for training purposes, right? That I want the people that work with us to also have knowledge in these tools that they can use not only when they're working with us, but in their own lives.
Actually, my next question was going to be, how has your team responded to your AI leadership?
I think they're excited. I think like particularly in the marketing team, I think they were already using it beforehand, but when it was very specific directive coming from, like from me, it's like, hey guys, how are we using it? Let's make this faster. They totally embraced it. And again, when we talk about the fear of when people are saying that it's going to take away jobs, it's also going to create jobs. So it's not one of those of it'll fully take it away. It's just there's some industries where you are gonna have to learn to use it. And I feel marketing is one of them because otherwise you can't keep up with the speed of what comes out because of everybody else using AI with it. And so I think they appreciated it there that it's like, hey, and I feel we're also coming away from the narrative when it first came out of like there was a lot of pushback of like you cannot use it or I feel some negative connotation, people thinking that it's not yours or it's not
It's not
real. But
authentic.
it's like it, so when people say that, to me, it's obvious they're not using AI because they're not realizing that you as a human have to still work with it. It's a tool just like my Word document, right? I still typed that up. I still have to do that. Well, when you're using with these prompts, it's like I still had a lot to do with that. It would whatever was created would not exist if as a human I didn't have some inputs to it.
It's like using GPS to go somewhere doesn't make you less of a driver.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
if you have to go through a surgery, right, and the surgeon uses the highest tech with AI possible to get you the best result, would you rather go with that or someone that stayed 50 years behind?
Very good point.
That doesn't make them less of a surgeon, right?
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up. So now for our listeners that who are or in your shoes when you started, like what
Mm.
is the best advice you give executive who are where you started? And one of the questions that I always get, I'm not a techie. So what would you say to that?
You know, I'm going to tell them if they can use Microsoft Office and if they can use email, they can use AI. So I love how I also read this the other day when AI was first being developed. Yes, you needed the coders and you needed these software engineers, but it has gotten to the level where it is easy to use. So I think maybe that's actually part of the fear too, right? There is some intimidation factor when somebody says AI of like, I just don't know what that is. But when they jump in, they're going to realize, oh, it's not as complicated as I thought it was. And if you jump in, like, it's like literally 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, you're going to start using it pretty well. But at the next level, the advice would be let's show you how to use it at a deeper level, right? Based on our conversation that we talked about at the beginning, if 9 out of 10 people are just using it as a glorified Google search, that's you're not going to maximize it. Yes, it'll help you to a certain extent, but you're like the tip of the iceberg of what it can do. So I would recommend to any executives, it's like, hey, look, there's so many resources out there. There are executive coaches like myself, like you, that are teaching entrepreneurs how to use it, and start first with yourself, and then how do you introduce it to your teams. That's actually why we started System and Soul AI, because we're noticing, again, a lot of people are talking about AI, but the adoption rate is not as high as you think it is, right? It's interesting because you and I are circles, like we're talking about it, so you think everybody's talking about it, but I have this analogy, it's like climbing a mountain, and the people at that level of the mountain, they've all used it, but when I turn around, there's all these other people that haven't even touched it. So it's one of those of, you use it first and then see how you can introduce it to your team and see how it can really streamline your systems,
Yes.
especially for business.
And I say that people are using AI like a calculator when it's actually a super duper very smart computer.
Hmm.
And that's what, and actually my last article was talking about that we don't have um, an AI leadership crisis. Like, I guess leaders, they are just shoving AI on their teams without preparing them for the real change management that is more psychological than anything else. They are just pushing it down their throat, and that's why some people have adversity to it. If you would suggest one AI tool that every executive should try first. I remember when I introduced my husband to sushi, I made him eat California roll first because it was like the easiest entry to sushi. So if that analogy, we would do it to a tool for AI, what would you suggest an executive um, tool he can have?
Well, I'm definitely biased with the ChatGPT, and I keep telling people it's like it's the baby of AI. I know some people say, "What do you mean, baby?" It's like because it's the easiest to use. The good news too, it's the basis for a lot of them, right? It's like because it was the one that was developed the fastest at the beginning. A lot of the other platforms emulated it. So if you can learn how to use ChatGPT, then you can use a lot of the other platforms. And again, for security purposes, that's why I like ChatGPT, because it was easy to do that toggling off on your data.
Yeah.
And it again, I feel it has gone further along because of the fact that it's been around. So that is my recommendation. I think it's fun. And that's another thing. Just like have fun with it.
Exactly.
Have
It's
fun.
the best memory by far on all of them. I mean, I tried all of them. It's the best memory ever. And it's the highest emotionally intelligent platform so far. I mean, Claude is second, Anthropic, but ChatGPT is still the most, it's like your BFF sometimes, it's so before we wrap up, what would you tell other coaches like you that maybe are not deep in AI, or they want to explain what AI to their clients without feeling that they're not authentic, without feeling that they're cheating? Because believe it or not, all these thoughts were in my brain. Like, am I cheating? Am I not being authentic? Am I not good enough? That's why I have to have like a cane to walk on. You know what I mean? What would be pearls of wisdom from you going through what you went through the whole last year about AI before we wrap? What would you say?
Interesting, because it's the other day when I did have a session in person, someone had this point of view before that it was plagiarism, right? That they're creating something that wasn't theirs. And that's when I explained, it's like, well, if I can show you how to use it first, you'll realize that that's not the case because of how much human input, how much of your input has to come into it. So I think once they see that, then they'll just get a reclarification. And again, I think everything's about mind shifting. How do we support individuals to shift their point of view from something that at the beginning they actually don't know much about, but they've just heard? So it's giving them a hands-on experience and like, let me show you. And then, secondly, it really is about, again, like, see, well, it's a tool, right? It's like any other tool that we've got. You use tools, like you just said, it's like to get somewhere from A to B, I'm going to use my car, right? And we use analogies of in the past where, again, I'm going to go back as we had horses, right? Or we started from walking, we had horses, we have cars, right? Next thing you know, now we've got the self-driving cars.
Yeah.
So everything's an evolution. And I always love, I actually use Game of Thrones analogy for my classes as like having an AI, I'm going to call it a companion, is like having a dragon in Game of Thrones. And I use the dragon analogy because so someone can see how massive it is, right? So think of just that series, the ones who have the dragons have the power, right? You can fly with it, you need to but you need to master your dragon. And so in this context as well, it's like, would you rather have one or not? Because and it's one, and here's the next piece. It's available to anybody. It literally is such a thing about leveling a playing field. And unfortunately, if you don't know how to use it, you actually will be left behind. So that's almost like the pros and cons of if there is fear, you should be more afraid of not using it.
Absolutely.
Um,
And like you
because
said earlier, people say that it's going to take jobs. People with AI skills are going to replace those jobs. It's not AI that's going to replace the jobs. So, Lizzie, this was so much fun. How can people reach you?
you can reach me on LinkedIn. You can look up Lizette Espinoza. You can reach me on my website, www.soulandsystemai.com. And you can find me also on Instagram, Lizette Espinoza. But I think the easiest one right now would be LinkedIn, website. And we're here to support. There's so much for this space right now. And I think we really do need to. I love what you're doing, right, when it comes to getting this message out, because this really is changing so quickly as well that we need to, if I can help as many entrepreneurs get on board as quickly as possible, then, again, I feel like I did something to support someone else's growth.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Lizzie, it was so much fun having you today on my podcast, AI Cafe Conversations. And I'm going to put all your informations in the description of the episode. It's going to be episode 6 on season 2 that will be released on July, to be July the 9th. So
Awesome.
I can't wait, for people to really enjoy this episode. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And thank you so much for being here with me today.
Absolutely. It was an honor. And I love it that you call me Lizzie.
Yeah, I always, I always call you Lizzie. Okay, my audience, I love you. Those that love AI Cafe Conversations, as you know, please subscribe, share it with a friend, show me love, like it, share it. This is Sahar, your AI whisperer, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Awesome.